Jared, awesome.
Yes.
Thanks for
Thank you.
being here.
Appreciate it.
I used to live in New York and I went to 1 Mile House
Hmm.
a fair amount. Well, sometimes. I lived over in Brooklyn, and whenever we were basically over in Manhattan in that area, we'd stop by
Excellent.
like 5, 6 years ago. So that's how like I first came into contact with the stuff that you do and put out there in the beer world. But now
Hmm.
you have Sweet Avenue, right?
Sweet Avenue. Yeah. This was my little COVID baby. Um, so backstory is I had 1 Mile House for 9 years. It was my first bar that I ever opened. Obviously a big love and focus on craft beer.
Yep.
I sold it, my shares of it anyway, a couple months, probably about 6 months before the pandemic hit.
Wow.
Um, yeah. And it was one of those things where I was going to take a couple months off and just, put some more logs on the fire, get, something burning again. And then that turned into like 2 years
Right.
almost.
For sure.
Um, I think during that time, I think we all learned that uh, the dollar is not as important as like mental health and being with your family and quality of life. So that's kind of how this started in a way. I live in this neighborhood that we opened up the shop. I can walk
Okay.
to work every day. I can see my son every day, and just be with my family a little bit more. I'm not spending an hour and a half on a commute back and forth on a train. And,
Oh, right.
being in Manhattan, living in Queens, it's like once you're there all day. You're not going
Yeah.
to go pop in back and forth. Where here, it's like I can go in for 2 3 hours, pop back home, go back for another 4 or 5 hours, et cetera, et cetera. But
Nice.
yeah, I mean, Sweet Avenue's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. So what is Sweet Avenue like? So 1 Mile House is like bar in
Yeah.
Manhattan. What is Sweet Avenue?
So Sweet Avenue is probably a culmination of all experiences that I had the 9 years of 1 Mile House.
Okay.
Um, it's small, it's tight, it's quaint, it's beer, craft beer focused. It is definitely more of a bottle shop,
Got
retail
it.
tasting, with a bar. But it's definitely a bar. Like, we have probably about 18 seats.
Okay.
Nice size bar. We have 12 draft lines. And then the biggest difference is that we have a big fridge full of beer that people can take away. No kitchen, no food, just little snacks, like beef jerky,
Simple.
whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, the kitchen's hard, especially, you're either front of house focus, financial focus or whatnot. The kitchen is the hardest part because you really need someone that has good expertise. And I had that at
Right.
1 Mile House. My chef was amazing. My staff was amazing, my front of house staff. So, but it is like you're sometimes if you don't have that culinary background, you're a little detached from your food, because
Mm-hmm.
you're thinking so much about A, hospitality, B, your cocktail program, your beer program, everything
Right.
like that. You're not good at everything,
Yeah.
unfortunately. You
There-
try to
There's
be,
just
but
there's just like not time to be awesome at all of it. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
that
It's
is
just
true.
like
Yeah.
so. How
But because
many?
I wasn't good at that, that's why I kind of left that off the menu
Perfect.
with
And
this one.
so this you started it. It was like last summer, I think we talked on the phone. Was
Yep.
that last summer?
It
That's when you
was.
guys opened? How
Yeah.
long from like conception to open for you?
Um, well, it's funny because living in Sunnyside, which is kind of an off, very close to Manhattan. It's a 15-minute train ride into Midtown. But
Mm-hmm.
one of my house was always downtown. So
Right.
um taking cabs home, after a long night or something like that, or beer event at 1 Mile, like coming home, like, what this neighborhood really needs? This neighborhood really needs a bottle shop. So the
Right.
conception was there for the seed was planted a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think it was really just like COVID of like wanting to do something, wanting to create something. Creativity was
Nice.
dried up, and that was always something in the back of my head. And I knew this neighborhood needed it because there was a craft beer desert basically.